So before I started recording this session, I was talking to Satchitananda about my meditation practice that I've done for many, many years, whereby basically I just don't do anything. I allow the mind to settle. And I was saying that this past week I'd done quite a lot of meditation, and it was taking a long time for the mind to settle, because nowadays there's so much movement in the mind, maybe more than previous decades due to social media, technology, a lot of movement in the mind. But anyway, eventually I was going deeper, 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 and I said that basically I think I could go very deep into this meditation, but at a certain point the ego says, "You shall not pass. I will only allow you to go so deep. That's it. Any further, no chance." So I said to Satchitananda, it seems to make real deep progress in meditation, you have to meditate on emptiness. You have to realize that upon investigation, the ego cannot be found. Otherwise, there will always be this "you shall not pass" moment. You will never be able to go really deep without this meditation on emptiness.
Why you are saying all this stuff and you do not exist? Where are you? So it's like, how to say, when somebody is stealing a home and suddenly someone from the neighbors understands that and puts light to him. Mm-hmm. He runs away, It's the same with awareness. The moment you bring awareness, you bring the light of awareness presence into revealing its non-existence, it becomes less and less powerful. This is the secret to make it completely faint away. Like a scream, you do not exist. Come to see you. Where are you? You are only a ghost, only a thought.
So you basically what you're saying. Yes. What you're saying is you're shining your torch of wisdom, if you like. You're shining it directly onto this apparent object.
Yeah. So what it can say? What it can say? I exist. Okay. Where are you? You exist. Okay. So show me yourself. Reveal yourself. Where are you? I don't see anything. I cannot find you. You are just a thought. And where this thought of you, the possible you as a small separate self, when it appears in me, infinite presence awareness. I exist. You are only a thought which its nature is empty. So what it can do after?
Yeah, it's as I said before, it's not like it's a waste of time to meditate, but almost, unless you incorporate this understanding of emptiness or the absence of the person, because you can only go so far. It just puts up a brick wall, and so you're forced to anyway. And if you want to go further in your meditation, you're literally forced to investigate, well, where is this I? Because it'll just completely ruin your meditation every single time, and it is the obstacle to experiencing any kind of bliss. Just becomes more and more stressful and tense, and
it can use even the bliss, so-called bliss. It can say, let's have some bliss. And it can lead astray practice into this inverted commas bliss, fabricated bliss. I'm peaceful. I don't have any thoughts. I am a fantastic practitioner. Look at me. I can empty my mind. tricky and so dangerous, this function, thought, that it may use even the attainment of bliss or of happiness during the practice.
Mm-hmm.
When in reality, the point and the goal, if there is such as an expression like inverted commas, the way and the view of doing meditation is not to achieve pleasure or bliss. It may appear as a byproduct, but the reason that we do sadhana and practice is to reveal the true nature, what is our true nature, not any kind of a pleasurable feeling or sensation or even visions of any kind. They may appear, but that is not the reason according to any legitimate spiritual lineage.
Yeah, that may be the case, but it is the reason for every single person who meditates, if they're being honest. Unless you can find, unless you can find me a person who think, no, I'm not an ego. Find me an ego that's not interested in bliss, and I'll tell you there's a liar.
But we should speak about what is the truth and what is all the spiritual lineages are conveying for the real reason of doing.
Of course. Just try.
For most of the practitioners, it is like a painkiller, or they want to be escapists from the daily problems and the daily routine, all the suffering of their living.
Excuse me.
But that is the real purpose of doing practice, meditation, and any kind of sadhana. The ultimate reason is to find out who you really are. What is your true nature?
But yeah, that also it depends on your disposition, but also the inquiring mind can't help but want to know the truth anyway, regardless of bliss or not bliss. You want to know the truth, and also you know that from my experience, you can't experience bliss anyway if you've got strong self-grasping. It's like the opposite. So you have to investigate the nature of the ego and gain some insight, or you haven't got any hope of getting bliss anyway. And as soon as you start grasping at bliss, then you're grasping at the ego again. So it's catch-22. So don't you think you have to analyze what's the true nature of the ego, and the only way you can experience bliss is by getting some insight into its true nature anyway.
Yes. Otherwise, it will insist to not allow the practice to go on the right direction. It will use any kind of practice or sadhana or meditation. It will use it for its own benefit, creating obscurations, trying to reveal that it really exists as a separate individual entity, and will try to become stronger even through the practice. Most of the meditation practitioners, they have a very, very strong ego. They consider themselves like superior human beings than the so-called common worldly beings. Most of them you can see in their attitude and in their rigid posture. Look how I'm studying in my practice. Look how I'm powerful. I don't move. I am so serious on what I do. I'm the best. You can see, you can understand from the posture, the rigidness, and the power of the ego, using the practice for its own benefit.
Mm.
This, of course, is a disaster.
I've seen it many times when I lived at the Buddhist center, and I was also did it. You know, you'd like we were very spiritually immature, and if there was a group practice, there would be a silent competition to see who could remain motionless the longest. It's hilarious.
Yes, it can be even, the ego can be even masochist. It
Yeah.
can use even the pain for its own benefit. Like it can struggle, it can create pain to itself to prove that it is superior.
Mm.
Or it can use the opposite as well. It can say, stop the meditation and any kind of sadhana, any kind of practice. Don't you see that you are the worst and the worst practitioner, and you will never achieve anything? You will never be able to go deep in your meditation. Just leave it for the sages and for those who are ready enough or mature enough.
Mm.
Go back to your job, go back to your family, to your partner in life, and to your worldly duties. What do you want to achieve? You don't see that you are unable to practice.
Mm.
You are not ready yet. You are the worst practitioner. Stop
And
it.
after all this time,
Yes.
still.
You see, it is so treacherous, like a snake.
Yeah, it has to be the most extreme of either the very, very, very best or the very, very worst, isn't it? Then it feels like it's of note. It has to be of note in any direction, but it has to be of note. It can't just be in the middle.
Yes, because it is psycho. The ego to be healthy. It is impossible for any ego to stay healthy and to have normal patterns of behaving. It will
Normal.
always be crazy and psycho style.
You said impossible to have what? Sorry, I didn't hear.
It is impossible for an ego to have healthy patterns.
Yeah, yeah.
It is a sick situation. It is a wrong view of reality. It applies existence in what is non-existent, like itself, the apparent universe, the apparent beings, the apparent objects. And it always likes to obscure its source, which is the infinite awareness presence. It is useful for practical reasons in daily life, but that's all. When it takes all, it becomes a disaster. And it can never be satisfied. Even if there is normal and good practice, regular practice, it will never be satisfied. It will say, "Oh, the other practitioners in the community are doing much better than me," or "I'm so better than them that I should be a guru." Like extreme behaving and wrong patterns all the time. And here is revealed the need of a competent guru who had also a guru to stop this process, to help the practitioner to see the truth and this gaming of the ego. Nobody can manage to to work alone, to do sadhana alone and practice alone, unless he or she is very, very mature from previous dream lifetimes in spirituality.
But then the danger is that lots of people will say, oh, yes, well, I am, so I don't need a guru. I am mature. You know, so the ego will misevaluate their own level, their level.
Yes, also this, also it can appear. And that's why we need any common person will need a safe environment of a lineage, and a legitimate and authentic lineage, and a guru. And this safe environment will protect somehow from going astray more and more. Of course, we have extreme cases, like rare cases, like Ramana Maharishi, for example, who was ready from previous dream lifetimes, and he didn't need to have a guru. But this is, of course, a very, very rare case.
Yeah, and it needs to be said again and again that it's rare, because people can use it in the wrong way. And a real indication that it was super, super rare is that his principal disciple, I put it to you, his principal disciple was one of, you know, like a disciple you very rarely see the quality this high in a disciple, you know, and he couldn't get anywhere without taking Ramana as his guru. He, as we know, he went up to his cave and said, look, I need help. I can't do anything. I know all the scriptures. I know this. I've memorized this, that, and the next thing. I've done all the austerities. I've done everything, and I'm getting nowhere. So a disciple of this quality, that probably a better disciple you can't find on the earth at this moment, still needed, in, as you would say, indispensable need of the guru. That's a great example to show people the point.
Yes, not only the guru, but also the spiritual lineage, the authentic lineage is also indispensable. And also the community of the fellow practitioners. All of this makes it the right, safe environment.
Yeah.
And alone, it will be very, very difficult. But somebody needs to be sincere inside him.
Yeah.
Inside him should ask all the time the question, do I really see my true nature? Do I really know what I am? Not only my character, the good and bad points in my character or my attributes, but also, do I really see what I am? And not only that, but even if I see what I am, let's say somebody can see that is not a person, an individual, egoical entity, but he is infinite, impersonal awareness, presence. This has also to be a permanent recognition and conviction, not something that comes and goes. That is very, very crucial and important, because this person may recognize the truth when he is in the class, in satsang, or together with his or her guru, or when he is studying the scriptures, he or she is studying the scriptures. But what about when there is a very, very extreme bad event in his or her life, can this moment be ready enough or mature enough to recognize the truth? Or this moment will forget?
Mm.
And I mean very, very difficult situations or circumstances. Like
Yeah.
somebody loses his job, he becomes fired
Mm.
from his career, from his job,
Mm-hmm.
or his business becomes bankrupted, or there is um, a death, of a beloved person, either your spouse or the father, your mother, or an accident of your children, one of your children. What is the power that you have this
Mm.
particular moment of such extreme bad event? Can you recognize this moment that samsara and whatever appears is only of the nature of emptiness,
Mm.
and what you really are cannot be affected, cannot be harmed, that you are the screen, and the screen that you are cannot have any damage from the protagonist that you have the opinion or the belief that you are. You see the protagonist and you become identified with the protagonist of the film, or you remember that you are the screen.
Mm.
This is very, very, very crucial and important. This recognition and conviction to be permanent, on a permanent basis. Only then you can say, okay, now I am ready to play this role of a guru, of an external guru. When for many, many years you have this permanent recognition and conviction. Otherwise, you are not sincere with yourself. You are pretending that you are a guru. You are using this title or this role
Mm.
to to accomplish more of your egotistical desires
Mm-hmm.
with a powerful role or title. If you have so much clinking and attachment in sex, you will use this title, this role of a guru,
Mm.
have more sex partners more easily. If you have attachment in wealth and money, you will use your role or your title to attract money and to sell teachings,
Mm.
so on and so forth. And that is what we can see in this Kali Yuga, in this era, all around us. Like pseudo gurus to hang around with politicians or with New World Order puppets and
Mm.
scenarios, and at the same time to create a lot of wealth and never to be satisfied, and charging money for selling teachings or
Mm.
ancient methods and practices. They are fake gurus who are selling teachings where the owners and the real authors of these teachings were offered these teachings for free, never
That's
charged anybody. And now they take these teachings and they are selling to the public, to the innocent masses.
that's really crooked.
It is a very demonic behavior to sell teachings. especially teach
It's
for
even worse if it's teachings that were previously given for free that you didn't even disseminate in the first place.
Exactly.
It's even worse.
Exactly. So this is one reason, one of the reasons that people don't easily trust to have a guru, because they can see how the fake gurus are acting, and they are really don't trust this idea of having a guru. And then there are also other people who are like sheep, a sheep.
Mm.
They can be fascinated by a famous guru, fake guru, because they have millions of followers.
Mm.
That is enough for the masses as a proof that this fake guru is a real one. When somebody is rich and very well known and popular, it's somehow for the masses, it creates this illusion that this fake guru must be a real guru.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why he have millions of followers.
Mm.
But if the reality is that it's not about how many followers you have. It's about your life. It's about how you are acting, how you are using the teachings for your ego satisfaction, how you teach to the people to use the practice, to use sadhana, to study the scriptures, to have a moral lifestyle. And then for sure you cannot have a lot of students. If you're asking all this from the common people, ego, they don't like it. The ego don't like to have rules and regulations and a lot of duties and the need of practice and the need of study the scriptures and the need of practicing meditation and so on and so forth. And if you observe, you will see that those who have millions of followers, they don't ask anything of these things, crucial things, their followers.
Yeah.
They allow these egos to live a very comfortable life with ego satisfaction needs and desires to be satisfied of any kind. No request of having a moral lifestyle. No request of doing enough sadhanas and study the scriptures. So that is very, very easy for the ego to follow a fake guru. It is very, very comfortable.
Mm. Yeah, I think there's a lot of truth in that, what you just said.
I mean, somebody who is accumulating wealth and charging non-stop, and his lifestyle is not moral, and he's having a scandalous lifestyle, how he can be a real guru? A real guru don't have attachments and clinging to worldly things. A real guru don't need to be rich, don't need to have to change sexual partners or to accumulate wealth and money non-stop. We can see for the past masters and gurus, their lifestyle. Take, for example, Ramana Maharishi. The only belongings were 3, 4, 5, not more. Like a towel, a stick, an underwear, a bowl for water or food, He didn't need any wealth accumulation. He didn't need to charge anybody to offer teachings.
Mm.
The same with Buddha or Christ or so many others, Adi Sankaracharya, Padmasambhava, Garab Dorje, so many masters throughout the ages were simple and humble and
Yeah.
never charging anybody.
There's a certain vibe I've realized now, after observing many people, many teachers, many gurus, and so on. There's a certain vibe that all the great teachers have, like Ramana Maharishi, the Saint of Kanchi, the Jagat Gurus, the ones that we can observe in our lifetime. Thich Nhat Hanh, and a few others. They've got a certain vibe, and it's not a rock and roll vibe. It's a humble, simple, completely disinterested with the enjoyments of this world, all of them. There's a certain feeling that these very special spiritual masters have, and it's complete detachment and humility. And they're not interested in it's just worldly things just are not magnetized to them at all.
Because
And
they know.
yeah, carry on.
If somebody knows the truth and he can have infinite bliss on a permanent basis, which is derived from his own true nature, then why to run after worldly things?
Exactly. So the point you were making that is something that must be remembered continuously. It's difficult to even get the recognition in the first place, let alone hold on to it 24 hours a day. Is the starting position, if you like, for a practitioner when they're going about their daily activities, is it to be at least not caught up in their thought? We talked about this before. It's one thing to be aware of what you're thinking, but it's another thing, and it's another level of awareness to be in like a more meditative state whereby you're aware that you're aware. You're aware. I want to explain it better than that, but do you know what I mean?
Yes, the true state is to be aware of your awareness. That is the real awareness. That is the real mature state. And then whatever the body-mind complex has to go through due to prarabdha karma, destiny, you integrate. While you are walking, eating, drinking, whatever you are doing, you are integrating in your awareness without any attachment or clinging of any kind, without also mental constructions. It's just a spontaneous openness with this permanent recognition and conviction that what you are is the screen, the sky. Not the movie in the screen, not the clouds in the sky.
And
But that,
even if, sorry,
That has to be permanent, recognition and conviction.
But even if you can't be aware of your true nature, your awareness, you can at least be aware in a meditative sense, whereby rather than identifying with thoughts and losing your awareness, at least you can be aware to the degree you are in meditation, whereby you don't identify with thought. You can observe thoughts. You can be disidentified with your internal goings on as a detached observer, as you are in certain points of your meditation, whereby you're like, your consciousness is like the sky, and your thoughts are like the clouds, and you're watching the clouds go past. You can do, is it at least the least you can do is in your daily life, not to be, I am Andrew, I'm lost in my thoughts, but to have that detachment.
Of course, it is a very good stepping stone, and even the sitting meditation process, it's a very good start. This starting point can train you. The detachment that you can cultivate in the meditation session,
Mm-hmm.
to prolong that state of pure recognition and conviction and detachment from the body-mind complex as much as possible. And
Mm-hmm.
as you prolong, this prolonging becomes bigger and bigger. It can be 1 hour per day, then it can be 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. And in a mature states, it can be the entire 24/7. And when that can be there for many, many years, then this is what we call self-realization, enlightenment, or moksha. This constant, permanent awareness of itself. Awareness, being aware of itself, completely detached, completely knowing that it is not the body-mind complex.
And the more you do the meditation, the more of a taste you get for your true nature, and the more of a wish to experience it, because the gap between the peace of meditation and the agitation of strong ego grasping becomes wider. So that when I'm talking about for myself at least. So when you get stressed, when you get anxious, and all this, it's like, oh, this is so detestable compared to the peace that I know that I'm capable of attaining. Whereas, like we were talking the other day, whereas some people, it's like they skip the meditation stage in Vedanta. How can you possibly do that? It's absolutely fundamental to everything. How can you? It's strange to me.
Well, the ego is playing this game that it is enough to know the scriptures or to study and to know all these ideas and all this terminology about what you are. And the ego, the mind, it becomes satisfied even by collecting this as informations. But in reality, that's why we have, for example, in Advaita Vedanta, the 3 processes, like Sravanam, you are listening, you study the scriptures under the guidance of a competent guru. Then there is Mananam, where with your guru, you do the dissolvement of your doubts and questions of what you have previously heard and studied. And then we have the 3rd process, which is the Nididhyasana, Vedantic meditation, where you need to assimilate and to internalize and to see really this truth, these truths, especially Mahavakyams, Upadesa, such as Aham Brahmasmi. So when somebody, let's say, asks you, do you know Brahman? Do you know that you are awareness? Then your answer should not be something like, yes, I heard or I have been informed from my guru or from the Upanishads, from Vedanta, that what I am is Brahman awareness. It should not be on this state of being just an information. It should be your truth in the heart of your hearts. Of course I am Brahman. Of course I am awareness. I don't know Brahman awareness as something which is objectified, as an object of learning, but I know that I'm that. Then you can say that all the process in the path was really successful. And this is a very, very common phenomenon that my guru Swami Paramarthananda said that after 40 years of teaching Advaita Vedanta, when I ask somebody, are you Brahman? They don't dare to say yes. They are Brahman in the class, in the satsang, but not out of the class. So that is really very disappointed when you are just attracting informations, collecting data, and finally, this is not your real truth, the truth for the heart, in your heart of hearts. It has not yet been assimilated. You are not yet soaked up with this truth. It's only an information. But if every single second you are awareness, being aware of itself, then the process is done. And this doesn't mean that you have attained or created a new yourself as Brahman awareness. This only means that you have removed all the obscurations in the mind through Chitta Shuddhi, mind purification. Because you are anyway always Brahman awareness, eternally. The point is, do you really see that constantly? Or often you believe you are a body-mind complex or an individual identity? Because there is no individual identity. Every individual identity, so-called one, is empty. It is full of sunyatam, emptiness. It's only a thought. In Advaita Vedanta, it is called ahamkara, the I thought. And the thought does not have any solidity. So there is no any construction in this thought, any solid foundation. It's only like a soul, like a imagination. And of course that creates suffering when you believe that you are the body-mind complex and a singular individual identity. How you can have peace, how you can have permanent peace, happiness and bliss. Even if this is your infinite nature, because our infinite nature is Satchitananda, you cannot recognize it. Sadly, you are that, but you cannot recognize it. It is like the sun, which can be covered through the clouds for the moment. What we really are is always there. The true identity is infinite awareness presence, impersonal. But the point is in recognition and conviction, which also must be on a permanent basis.
So that the moment you realize fully that the I thought is just a thought, there's no reality behind, there's no real person that you've always believed yourself to be, does your anxiety, your stress, your worry instantly stop?
For as long as you see that.
They can't coexist. The understanding of emptiness and stress, for example, can't coexist.
No. If you really recognize the truth, then who will be there to say I'm suffering?
Exactly. And it's what I'm trying to say is, so the thought, the I thought itself is the root of this suffering. So when it goes, that's it.
Of course.
The mind, not some separate thing, or it's not independent of the I thought, it's coming from the I thought.
Yes, the root cause of suffering is the mind, the non-recognition of the true nature, the veiling, the obscuration of the mind. Suffering never existed. Samsara and nirvana never existed. There are only modes in the mind. It's like you say a story, a narrative. You can go in a clinic for mental disorders, and you can see somebody who is out of nowhere can create a narrative that creates suffering to him, just through imagination. I have a pain because I believe I'm this person, and I have this suffering, and it is completely self-imposed limitation and suffering. So all kinds of suffering are self-imposed. It's a narrative, which in the deep sleep without dreams, it disappears anyway. The most big sufferer in the deep sleep disappears. In the deep sleep without dreams, because there is nobody there as an ego, is it possible to exist suffering?
No.
No. So suffering is a narrative. We don't speak here about the physical, so-called physical pain. We speak about the psychological suffering.
Yeah.
Because, of course, if you have an accident with a car and a very big wound in your lips, of course, there will be pain. But suffering is when you make it even worse 1,000,000 times, saying, why to me this happened? Why this accident happened to me? And what I will do now? And how I will work? And how I will make surviving for my family? And what will happen? They will take, if I cannot work, they will take our home. And where my family will live, in the streets, and so on and so forth. And this becomes like a horror museum in the mind. But even such a situation in the deep sleep without dreams will disappear. So everything is only mental. Everything is just like a magical show lasting 3 to 5 days, said Astavakra in Astavakra Gita. Everything is only imagination. All phenomena are only illusion, just like the rainbow. It does appear due to different factors, coexisting factors, but can you touch the rainbow and move it to another place?
No.
It does not have any inherent existence. The same with apparent universe and the apparent beings and the apparent objects. There is no inherent existence. So it is very, very important and crucial, the recognition and conviction of the true nature. Not only your true nature, but the true nature of all phenomena. All phenomena, samsara and nirvana, the apparent universe, the apparent beings, the apparent objects, their basic substance is just sunyatam, emptiness. There is no any inherent existence. There is no any solidity. It's only a magical show, only maya, illusion, impermanent, mithya, which means impermanent, not stabilized truth, not inherent existence. They do appear, and yet they do not exist. Just like the dream in the night. You may see different things in the dream, and in the morning, you recognize that nothing was really there. And yet, the dreamer was completely convinced of the reality of the dream.
Yes, so things appear to exist, but they don't.
Yes. It's only an appearance. But we should not forget that there is something permanent. And that is awareness, presence, the substratum, the unchanging and ever-existent substratum, attributeless substratum. which has the capacity and the ability to accommodate, to illumine everything that appears and disappears in it. Okay, if Andrew don't want to say something else, let's close it for tonight.